So this is part two of my movie. I'm going to call it Bering Straight. Straight. Bering Straight. So I'm calling this. So where am I at? I'm at the part where the Cro-Mags learn how to make steel, and the Neanderthals are pissed because they knew how to make steel before, but they knew it caused more harm than damage in the end. I mean, it caused more damage. It did more harm than good. So where's that? Okay, so after the Neanderthals find out that the Cro-Mags are making, have figured out how to make steel, the the Cro-Mags, they get angry because, like I just said, and then okay, where is that? Okay, yeah. So then I expect so why they had to why the Neanderthals basically had to move to this new area that they started building their new mountaintop igloo because they had to leave their old area because they poisoned all the water up there because of their metal making process, and they wiped out the food source up there because it got carried away with how easy it was to kill the animals now with this new steel sharper spear. So they had to move to this new location where now everything's getting warmer, everything's thawing, and see it was it, see it, it's the thawing of the planet that changed that because nature is the God on Earth. Nature is perfect. Nature thinks ahead. Nature thinks ahead. Okay, nature thinks ahead perfectly, and nature knew it was going to warm the planet. So nature thought ahead and already designed the new humans to be able to adapt to the new environment it was creating. So the Cro-Mags, here's more of the story. The Cro-Mags weren't having any of it. They continued. They continued. They had no choice. They continued to do the. They continued. They didn't even listen to Neanderthals because they had no choice. With the rapidly growing population, because their population, they for some reason they were much hornier. Nature made the Cro-Mags much hornier than the Neanderthals because like nature wanted people to take over the world because the Neanderthals did such a good job because nature made such a good job with making the Neanderthals that it thought that the Cro-Mags would be just as good if not better. Thought it was improving on making the Cro-Mags. And as far as I'm concerned, now we know nature has been doing a worse job with humans as evolution goes, with natural ability, possessing them with natural ability. The Neanderthals had the most natural ability of any humans ever to exist, as far as I'm concerned. Reality tells you that. So, the rapidly growing population, as the ice begins to thaw, as the world begins warming, the Cro-Mags and Neos, I mean, I'm gonna have because what happened is the Neos made an igloo fortress for Cro-Mags, but as things began to thaw, so did they. The igloos started melting, so their fortresses started going away. The Neanderthals soon figured out how to replace their mountaintop ice fortresses with stone blocks. So they figured out now to carve stone blocks and build out of them. The Neanderthals figured this out, not the Cro-Mags. The Neanderthals taught and helped the Cro-Mags to do the same. But the Neos got tired of doing all of the work and stopped helping them. This is a knock on Democrats. You know how they want other people to do their work for them. Well, the Cro-Mags are like the Democrats. Okay, the Neanderthals are like the Confederate, the Republicans. They're the Neanderthals. They're more about the work. No, they care more about leading through actions, where the Cro-Mags are like the Democrats. They care more about leading through words. Words lie, actions speak the truth. So I'm gonna make kind of main fun of Democrats being the freaking Cro-Mags, and so I have it where so the Neanderthals got tired of doing all the work and stopped helping the Cro-Mags. So the lazy ass Cro-Mags just started living in caves. This is why the Cro-Mags started. They're the ones that started living in caves because they were too lazy to build shelters. So it's like much easier just to go into a cave because you don't have to build nothing. So I'm knocking Cro-Mags being the Democrats. You're the Cro-Mags in this story. Started living in caves. They soon got tired of this and decided to take the Neanderthals' mountaintop fortress that's made out of rock now. Due to their superior size, better weapons, because now they're because Neanderthals can make steel, but they refuse to because of what happened where they lived before. They don't want to happen again, so they won't make steel weapons anymore because it wiped out a lot of their population before, so they're not going to do the same mistake again. So, um, so now, let's see, yeah, so the Neos, um, yeah, so now and also the Cro-Mags, they breed like animals. They're hornier for some reason, and that's the Cro-Mags. Their population exploded, so now the Neanderthal, the Cro-Mags, they totally outnumber the Neanderthals because they lost all their tribe from the previous location because of them making their metal, killed off a lot of their people. They killed a lot of their own people through making the metal. Um, so now the Cro-Mags have superior size, superior weapons, and they're better made for the new warmer climate. The Cro-Mags can survive in the warmer climate better than the Neanderthals can. Neanderthals prefer colder weather because they're thicker. They got more, muscle and fat, and you know, and they heat up a lot faster, which is bad. So they end up defeating the Neos because of this, because they outnumber them. They're using steel weapons, which can kill easier, and they're more adapt to the new warmer climate. Neanderthals aren't. It kind of makes them weaker. The warmer it gets, the weaker the Neanderthals get. So what happened was they didn't completely wipe out the Neanderthals. They let a few just leave the area. The Cro-Mags had pity on them and just let them leave the area because they were down to like you know a fraction of what they had, where they weren't a threat anymore. Where they were down on such population that the Cro-Mags, they just assumed they were going to go away. Actually, what I'm thinking about doing is I'm gonna have it where the Cro-Mags made sure they killed all the women. All the what they did is they left the men alive, and the Cro-Mags killed all the women because you need women to give birth. So I'm gonna have it where the Cro-Mags killed all the women. They made sure they killed all their women. They thought they killed all their women. I'm gonna have it later on where the Neanderthals, what happened was. So here's the rest of the story. So they allowed the remaining few Neanderthals to leave the area, never to be seen again. The Neanderthals headed farther northeast, or farther east, where it gets colder, and I'm gonna have it where the Cro-Mags went west, where it was warmer. So like they split, they split. They were all living in like the middle of Siberia at the time, like the Ural Mountains. That's where they were living. And I'm gonna have it where the Neanderthals, they chose to go east because it got colder going east, and I'm gonna have it where the Cro-Mags went west because it got warmer, and the Cro-Mags were better suited for warmer weather. The Neanderthals better for colder, so they split and they went opposite directions. Um, so the Cro-Mags, so then the Cro-Mags began expanding west, following the warmer air, the warmer weather. Thousands of years later, as the world begins heating up even more, the Cro-Mags anatomy begins to change. Like they start being born to adapt more to warmer weather as they are getting born. They become a little smaller, and a few begin to control the many through their new way of speaking. They learn they learn how to take over other people's creations. They learn that being cunning will get you farther in their new world, than creativity or intelligence. They soon learn how to manipulate others with their new made up words and start convincing others how they should live. The smaller ones learn how to be more cunning with their through their words, since they aren't strong enough to use action. They completely change everything. They completely change around everything the Neanderthals taught them. Instead of leading through action, the Cro-Mags will now lead through words. I'm gonna go to part three.